Hello and welcome to Gender Talk 211 for a season of Women in Power, Voices from the States. This talk show is brought to you in partnership with the Norwegian People's Aid, Root of Generations, Center for Inclusive Governance, Peace and Justice, and youth organization Markaz al-Salam. My name is Eva Lopa and I am your host. In today's episode, we are joined by Sebila Sebit from Western Bahr el Ghazal, specifically WOW. Our guest is a young woman whose work sits at the intersection of activism, gender justice, youth participation, and media. Sebila, you are most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Eva.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a while.
So wild.
Yes, I think the last time I saw you was in WOW. Was it in WOW
no,
or here in Juba?
Was in Advanced Radio, something like that.
True,
Yes.
true. I think the first time I met you was in WOW.
Yes.
Yes, and you were introduced to me as Sebila WOW.
Wow.
You were named after the whole state capital.
The whole wow.
Why is that? Where did Sebila WOW come from?
I think Sebila wow comes from me when I got back to wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now before we get to that, take me all the way back. Tell me just about yourself, where you grew up, a little bit more about what you do as well.
Okay, as I said earlier, my name is Sebila Sebit. I'm a young woman who comes from the western part of Bahr el Ghazal, that is Western Bahr el Ghazal, specifically Wow County. Yeah, I'm a graduate of agricultural sciences and from Catholic University of South Sudan, and currently based in Wow and doing all my work in Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about the work.
Yeah. I think I am a young woman who had a lot of aspiration. I wanted to achieve a lot of things. That was when I was still, trying to figure out where to fix myself, where to start my journey. I used to be, I had my chronicles that I designed at the beginning that could fit in the state, because where I sit right now, position myself in the middle of the triangle. That is Western Bahr el Ghazal State, the three counties of Western Bahr el Ghazal State. Mm-hmm. So I started figuring out where to start, and I think that was after when I came back from Yei. I did my secondary in Yei. So after when I came back from Yei, I joined Catholic University of South Sudan, Faculty of Agricultural Science. I never wanted to be an agriculturalist.
And so how did that happen?
I actually wanted to be a journalist or a lawyer.
So where did agriculture come from?
Okay, I think that's another story. That's another.
Is it too long?
That's another story.
Give me a little bit.
Actually, I left home after when I got done with my basic education. Mm-hmm. I got a scholarship.
Where did you do your basic education?
I did in WOW.
In WOW,
Yes.
And then you moved to Yei.
And then I moved to Yei.
For secondary school?
Yeah, for secondary school. Mm-hmm. So coming back home, parents and where I come from, influence, especially our family, where I come from, you have to be with the family, you don't go far. And then my mom had that fear of me going out again. So I was given a condition of studying in WOW, which for me, it's not something that I take bad right now, because I felt it was a best decision, a best on the other side that brought me where I am right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I had to be back, and I joined Catholic University immediately after secondary. I got admitted, and that's where I started my degree program at Catholic University.
In agriculture?
In agricultural science.
Although you would have preferred to do journalism or law?
Or law, yes.
Okay, give me a little bit of how you ended up doing agriculture.
How I ended up doing agriculture, my father never wanted me to leave home.
So you wanted to do something that you could do.
He wanted
back
me to
home
be
in Wow.
to be home, like to be back home, and also given the fact that, of course, the financial constraint of somebody going maybe outside the country and beginning, given the fact I'm the firstborn at home, there are a lot of kids. You also want to who are also going to school. So I felt that could be one of the contributing factor to me being back. But again, I also felt they just wanted me to be home, being a girl child, being away from home for 5 years. So there is this, you know, a lot of perceptions. She has been away. What was she doing? You know, she's there alone, far from home. So there are a lot of back influence that came in. Could be from the family themselves, could be from the relatives, and also from the community. Yeah, so I had the zeal of acceptance, though it was very hard decision for me to make.
Yeah.
But I had to accept and be where I finished from.
Okay, so you completed a degree.
Yes.
And then went back to WOW.
I actually did it in WOW.
Oh, you did it in WOW.
WOW faculty, like WOW. Faculty of Agriculture, of course, it's in WOW, not in Juba.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
University.
Okay,
Yes.
then so as soon as you finished, what did you do? Because I don't think agriculture came anywhere in anything that I heard about you.
Where I do right now, many
Completely
people
different.
don't know that part. But of course, there is women in agriculture, and that's where I stand. And also, how I started, you know, when I was in the campus, as I said, I started drawing my chronicles earlier, because I come from the family where girls. I don't want it to look like maybe people from my community don't go to school, but from my family, we have a lot of girls, but few
Have gone
like
to school.
2 in 3 have reached where to the, let me say, tertiary level or secondary level. Yeah. So when I was at the campus, I was so much, because I started my leadership role earlier when I was in secondary school. Yeah. And then I sat down and thought twice. Where do I need to start from? Yeah, being in the campus, you're very popular. You have a lot of people around you. Because Catholic University, of course, people come from different parts of South Sudan.
Correct.
I have a lot of networks. Right now, I have a lot of networks in South Sudan. Like everywhere I go, I have a network. And I started developing in where I was sitting in the campus. So to start with, I started by going back to school where I was, like my primary school. I went and requested the administration that I want to teach when I was still in first year. And of course, they accepted me. I taught there for a year. And I saw, okay, beside giving back to where I was, because that's the school, St. Joseph Basic School, primary school, that's where I got my scholarship from. So I was like, beside being here, what else do I need to do for the entire state? And I had to volunteer with a certain organization. For a short while, it was an agricultural organization, because I was in the campus now, the more practical aspect, and also community engagement. But again, I was like, no, that is not what I want. I had to go to SEPO. I went and knocked the door of SEPO. And I think where I sit right now, I will always give credit back to people that, you know, brought me up. And SEPO is one of it.
Okay.
So I went to SEPO. I met Stephen, the regional coordinator right now, that I'm here, I want to volunteer. You know, I want to volunteer, I want to learn, I want to be in the system. And of course, they did not hesitate. They gave me an opportunity to volunteer with them. And I saw it was so good, because they're into governance, they're into advocacy, they're into women empowerment, young women empowerment. So it's broad. And I find myself that this is where I want to be. Yeah, I want to be here. So I started volunteering, you know, doing a lot of work with them. So after when I graduated from the campus, I continued with them. I kept on, you know, upgrading from being a volunteer to now being given, you know, a bigger assignment. That is that was program officer. I mean project officer, let me say. And then from there I was, you know, I moved to another ladder. That is a program officer.
Okay.
So it was more of, I began to you know, to enjoy my work. Being with the civil society is actually my base of where I am right now.
I know some of your focus right now has to do with youth participation. And I think also when I met you the first time, you were very passionate about youth representation and
Young
participation.
women. Yes.
Yes, especially young women.
Yes.
What is the status of youth participation and representation, specifically women, in WOW right now?
In WOW right now, to just take you back a little bit, 2019, I founded a forum for young women, and that came out of one of the recommendations of a certain, you know, platform, and I took it upon myself. So this is where I want to begin. I was I'm mentored, so I need to mentor the young one. Right now, the participation of youth in the state, yeah, we have the Ministry for Youth in the state. We have the Youth Union. We have the SPLM Youth League, and the rest of the platform. I see youth in the state are trying. They are trying compared to 2017, 2016, 2018. Right now we have youth-led organizations, we have youth-led initiatives that it's not funded, it's a community-based network, it's a community-based initiative. We have a lot of young people who are into that, into, you know, working with the youth in the community. And yeah, when it comes to youth representation in the government, I could say, despite the fact we have, all these parties have young people. All these parties have young people, but do we have that, do they have that opportunity to lead? Or they have the opportunity to sit at the back and clap when they are for the conference or when they are for the meeting? So I feel still our government is not taking the participation of youth into considerations. Like youth being in the system. Of course they are in the system, but decision makers, you know. I really want to applaud the government of Central Equatoria of Regions, who, you know, is trying to, you know, to make sure that youth are on board. Instead of us being at the back, you know, when they are looking for information, they come to us. When they are looking for information about young people, they come to us young people for consultation, and we give them ready information. Instead of coming to us for consultation, we are behind the scene. Why can't you bring us on the table?
To be a part of the table.
So in the parliament, yes, I can say there are young women in the parliament, but I don't want to estimate, not to be taken, you know, wrong. I don't want to estimate the percentage, but I can say it's little. You know, even youth, it's very little. So it's high time for our government in the state to, you know, to look at this angle. There are a lot of issues that youth are facing in the state, and right now we are battling with it. So many issues that we are battling with it, but it needs us to sit with our generation, you know, and come with solution. And I'm very sure if that platform is not shrinking like the way I see right now, we could be doing a lot of things in the state without funding, you know, without government money. Even young people alone can own the initiatives that they have.
That's such a powerful statement that you just made. Let's take a break on that note. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gender Talk 211. We continue our conversation with Sebila Sebit, or Sebila WOW, from WOW in Western Bahr el Ghazal. Welcome back again, Sebila.
Thank you.
To continue to pick up from where we left off, youth participation and representation. What are some of the solutions you see that can be adapted in Western Bahr el Ghazal to have more youth participating?
I think some of the solutions that can be adapted, that's from my own aspect, because there are a lot of resolutions that are packed from the past, like from last year, from this year. There are a lot of organizations who are into youth empowerment. And of course, they do that with the involvement of the Ministry of Youth as the line ministry. So the youth have spoken. Youth have spoken a lot in different platforms. And I always questioned the elites that where are those recommendations being taken to? Because you find today we are in this platform, and then we give in recommendations, we give in what we think could be done. But we go and come back to the same discussion that we already provided solutions to. So what I could say is that the voice of youth they need to listen to what, the voices of youth. And in terms of advocacy, youth union as the umbrella of youth in the state or at the national level should also revitalize the union, where if I have a grievances or if I have a concern, I can walk to your office freely, where I can find a person I want to provide this information to. Because yes, we have an umbrella, but in some state, for example, in Western Bahr el Ghazal, yes, it's there. But what are we doing beyond public appearance? What are we doing to the youth? Are we bringing the youth together? And also there are these free hand activities that they can do. For example, this social cohesion. And I can say Western Bahr el Ghazal at that aspect is doing well when it comes to sports. I also want to applaud the Minister of Youth. Normally we have, during Christmas, there is this Christmas tournament that is happening, Ramadan tournament that is happening. Right now we have the youth at risk, which are the gang groups, They have ongoing tournament that is happening in the state. These are the social cohesion activities that brings the youth together instead of, leaving them. Because in every area, we have the youth structure in every area. So why can't we engage with them and hear from them what challenges are facing youth in the community, and come together and maybe plan for now, let me say, Western Bahr el Ghazal Youth Conference.
Right.
Western Bahr el Ghazal Youth Conference, bring those youth. It should not, I have no problem with politics. Of course, politics is always there in every space. But I also feel that youth need to be given that atmosphere, and that's why we see now in some parts of the country where there is ongoing conflict, it's young people who are fighting. Right now we even among the youth, we have the issue, the rising of the youth at risk. That's how I normally call them, but the gang group.
Okay.
It's becoming challenging in the state.
What ages are we talking about first?
We are talking of adolescents, youth. Let me say from 12.
Okay.
From 12 to 25. Most of them, let me say. But of course, we have others 20, 28, 30. But this age right now, they are at risk.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
why
such a vulnerable age.
Yes, and then that's why some of them now enter into conflict with the law, because you are under maybe the influence, for example, under the influence of substance. You go and use that behavior to commit what? Atrocities. To commit maybe, for example, to commit GBV. And that's why in the state right now we have the number of rape cases is increasing among the young people, And apart from the Ministry of Gender now voicing this thing out, maybe the organization, right now we see the crisis we see with organizations, they are not there, most of them. They have closed because of funding. So we used to rely on the organizations without knowing that these people, some 5-10 years, they will not be there. What can we do as the government of South Sudan? What can we do what can we start doing right now as let me say, the youth union? What can we start doing right now as the women union in the state to make sure that, you know, we now start spreading, you know, those positive virus in the community, you know, the change we want to see, the engagement we want to see, and how we start having this intergenerational dialogue right now. We start, you know, having this youth, you know, youth social gathering spaces, because now when I look back into into Western Bahr el Ghazal, this sport, let me say football pitch, are no longer there. They are all taken. So where do you expect this youth to go for social gathering? Youth center cannot take everybody.
Yes.
Freedom Square cannot take everybody. We used to have, at least every area had, you know, this football pitch. Every evening you see people gather, watch football. It keeps them busy.
Yes.
But right now you've taken it away from them. Where do you expect them to go? So I think it's high time for us, let me say the youth, the youth leadership, and also the government of the state to start thinking of this now, because it's getting out of hand. Yeah.
You mentioned GBV.
Yes.
I know you also did a lot of work on GBV cases.
Yeah.
And wow, and I think Kwajok as well was mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about your work.
Okay. Right now, I'm more into gender-based violence and reproductive health, where I look at the aspect of prevention, response, and risk mitigation, and also advocating for the right of women. I know somebody outside watching will say this one is a feminist, yeah?
There's nothing wrong with a feminist.
Of course, there is completely nothing wrong with it. Yeah, so that is where I am right now, to make sure that the survivors of GBV access services, whether being legal service, medical, protection, and also psychosocial. We always forget the aspect of psychosocial support. And also, I am, like in my work, we have spaces that we provided for women and girls, you know, and where they come socialized, a lot of empowerment activities that is ongoing within those spaces.
Going back to your work on GBV, are there support groups or safe housing for women that have survived, you know, gender-based violence? Does that exist?
Yes, it exists, but it's not enough. Like where I come from, we have a safe house. It's a project-funded safe house, and that's where the challenge comes in. We have a safe house, we have one-stop center where survivors of GBV go access the services. Of course, where you go, you get everything, and it's for free. And yes, so, but again, I'm looking at the aspect of having our own infrastructure. For example, the safe house managed by the government themselves. It will be a government-driven kind of a project, because, as I said before, for instance, Organization X is funding this, is running everything. What if they are not there tomorrow? It will collapse. And then we are taking the survivors back now. The issue of protection becomes very difficult. We are exposing them to risk in the community. Even their safety will not be guaranteed. They will go back to the perpetrators and live with them in the same family, you know. And that's why we have the issue of suicide comes in. We have the issue we hear that this woman wakes up in the morning, somebody is dead, you know. So the safe house we have right now is managed by a certain organization, but again, let me say in Juba, there is this safe house. There is this new project for World Bank recently. They had a visit to the state, where we receive information where we now have our own safe house in Juba that is going to be managed. It's under the Ministry of Gender.
Okay.
You know, it's a newly kind of constructed, you know, safe house. But again, my concern is now the management, the human resource.
Because it's a lot of work.
Yes, running safe house is not something very cheap. It's very expensive. So before having, yes, it's good. That is something we have been advocating for, that we need and we have right now. But again, maybe in future, the government should also think of the states having it in Juba. It's not having it in Wow.
Yes.
You know, of course, it can benefit someone from Western Bahr el Ghazal, but again, how will the survivor be transported from there to here? That is, again, exposing the person to more risk, you know. The aspect of, you know, GBV principle comes in, the confidentiality aspect, you know. So having it in the 10 state and 3 administrative areas could be something they should think about in a long-term plan.
Yes.
Yes.
I think what I'm understanding from what you're saying in a nutshell, you would like for structures or systems that already exist, like the Youth Union, the Ministry of Youth, even Ministry of Gender, to sort of understand these concerns and start to look into the solutions
Exactly.
that you're suggesting, or even other solutions for these systems to be sustained, the
Exactly.
solutions
Yeah.
themselves.
Sustainability, not actually sustainability, yes, and also the ownership aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ownership, it has to be, yes, we have it.
It's ours.
It's ours.
It doesn't matter if an organization leaves, it does not mean
It should not be.
I agree. I'm really enjoying this conversation with you and insight into just youth within Western Bahr el Ghazal, and specifically, wow. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back. And you're back with Gender Talk 211. As we close today's conversation with Sebila Sebit, we reflect on leadership, youth empowerment, and the future of women leaders in WOW. So just to touch on young women, we've spoken about youth in general, but young women and those we consider to be the leaders of tomorrow. What are your thoughts around that, and what do you see their future looking like? Is there enough being done in Western Bahr el Ghazal for women, young women, to be a part of leadership spaces, to prepare them to be leaders of tomorrow? Is there enough being done?
Okay, right now, I don't feel there is enough being done to have young women, you know, take up spaces. And I don't want to dispute the fact that we have in the state that the few young women who are trying so hard, and I really want to applaud them for the work they do. Yes, we have also young women within, like in the government system, mm-hmm. who some 2 weeks ago I was in a certain program. And one of the young women who is in one of the political party, she raises a very good concern of, you know, of still having the shrinking space within, you know, it's still like they are not seen they are being in the political parties, but they are not seen. So I'm not saying that they need to be given opportunities, but they are there in the system, so they are already in the system. And this one also goes back to the line, let me say, to the Ministry of Gender, should take up this role of empowering young women.
Yes,
empowering young women in the state, and that also goes back to women associations. Last year or before, I was in the women associations as deputy gender officer. Mm-hmm. But again, I also felt there was a concern within the association themselves. We need to be there. Association is not only for women, like all the women, let me say, mm-hmm. women, let me say, 40, 30, late 30s and the rest. Even the girls need to be there. You have to start orienting them. So I see the variation between the women right now in the leadership, and also the women union, and the young women who are outside, who are trying to come, get closer to them. Some of them feel it's a threat. Maybe you're coming to pick up my position. Because even us within the women associations, at some point I feel we don't have that honesty and also maybe the values of working for women, uniting the women together.
Yes.
You know, so when somebody comes in, you feel this person is coming to take up my position, which is not true. The young women need to be in the system, and that's why I would like to tell the young women outside there, if you're there and you feel you want to be part of the political parties, it's the right time for you to go right now. You know, and it's the right time for you to go and put yourself in those spaces. And Eva, that's how I started. I started creating routes, you know, everywhere. I was there, you know, entering from the, you know, at the ground.
Yes.
To make sure I just want to smell the air of that space. Is it smelling toxic? Or is something that I can put my head into it? You know, and that's, I have been to women associations, and up to now I'm still there. But I also want to encourage them, start that conversation with us.
Yes.
Bring us on board, hear from us. Some of us have better ideas we can give you.
True.
Some of us have better initiatives in our mind that we can share with you. And together, we'll have a strong women coalition in the state. And of course, we cannot go alone, you know. The other concern, I feel, it has to be channeled through women association. They have to advocate for it. They have to lobby for it as women network. It should not be an individual advocacy where you go. Of course, if an individual advocacy is self-centered.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always self-centered. But if they come together as a coalition, we have the coalition women in the state, we have the women association, we have the structured women in the areas under the umbrella of women association. We have the Ministry of Gender. We have the Ministry of Youth where female youth are part of it. So if we come together and have this conversation, hear from them, okay, listen from them, what do they anticipate, like 5-10 years from now? How do they anticipate the leadership of Western Bahr el Ghazal? You will hear from them. And that's why I just want to encourage my fellow young women, let's take it. Let's take those spaces. It's very important to have people in the political parties. It's also very important to have the strong advocate in the civil society, where we have them right now. You people did very good job, and I was so much happy with that initiative. It was very inclusive. It brought young people. I've never seen them in other spaces, you know, because some of the spaces, like most of the space, I see similar faces. I think together, we will see Western Bahr el Ghazal in some years to come would be one of the states that would be rated. I don't want to use the word power, but a state that works together with the young people.
Yes.
Yes.
I think just in terms of brainstorming and having multiple ideas, you need more voices within the same space.
Yeah.
I also believe there is no space that is not big enough for everyone.
Exactly.
There's no space that can only take 2 faces, 3 faces, or 4. That's not true.
Yeah.
Every space is big enough for everyone.
For everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially for women and the women issues that we see around. We probably need a few people to take on one issue at a time.
And also we have the women who are in the market, women into businesses.
Yes.
They have a lot of issues that they need to be heard.
Yes.
Women with disability, they have a lot of concern. Women, leave alone women who are in the state. There are those who are in the counties. There are those who are in the bomas, you know. So they have some concern, maybe concern to do with reproductive health, issue to do with let me say the GBV, domestic violence, and the rest. Others are seeking for solutions. Others just need somebody to talk to, provide psychosocial support to somebody, because we find that women are carrying so much right now on their shoulders. I don't want to put it very specific. When you go to work, you go to the market, we find a lot of women doing small scale businesses, like selling greens, you know, selling other things. At the end of the day, they are going back home, you know. And some of them, when they get back home late, it becomes a problem.
Yes.
So such kind of women, how do we bring them? How do we empower them? How do we bring them on board? How do we listen to their voices? How do we respond to them and maybe maybe we respond to, we can share their voices with the concerned authority.
Yeah.
And to see into it that how they are supported.
Yes.
You know, and some of them don't know even that some of the, you know, issues that are happening at home, for example, the issue of domestic violence, they don't know that it can harm them at the end of the day. So how do we pass the information to them? How will they know that there is a place where you can go and access the service for free?
Yes.
For instance,
just the knowledge and information,
you know, just an
trickling
information
down.
that they need, yeah,
Yes.
right now to feel supported.
I definitely think women at Grassroots are some of the most forgotten human beings in our country. I think when we go sit on tables to advocate for women, to lobby for women, we pretty much do not include women at Grassroots.
Yes.
Because if we rarely go to Grassroots and hear women's issues, how would we know what we need to advocate for?
Their issues are always overwhelming.
They're overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, women's issues are always overwhelming. I don't think women's issues are different from each other, but I do think that they happen in different forms.
Exactly.
And for you to understand how to resolve something, you have to hear it from the person who is experiencing it.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you. Women at Grassroots are extremely important, and we need to figure out a way to start including their voices a lot more.
Yeah.
How do you think we can actually do that? I mean, right now, let's say with this conversation, we're actually bridging the gap between, you know, just women in the capital and women at state.
Exactly.
Yes. So now how do we bridge the gap between young women at state level and young women at national level, and also Grassroots?
Yes.
How do we get to Grassroots?
Yes.
What can we do?
Okay, I think one of the things that we can do is to have a coordinated body. Right now we have, of course, we have the coalitions. We have women in the civil society. They have the coordinated body. Women in the government have this. But again, we need to establish a network between women in the state and the young women in the state and at the national level. Because sometimes we always get a complaint that women at the national level forget us in the state. We work alone. We walk the path alone. Sometimes our voices are taken to the national, but we don't get any feedback sometimes. So if we have that coordinated body, for example, it has to be through the linkages between the national, let me say, National Women's Union and the State Women's Union.
Yes.
You know, because I believe this is the umbrella for, for women. So, and also we need to provide this platform where they come together, either being young women. We normally, or annually, we have this National Women Conference where you find the belief is only women who are there. Okay, can we also adapt where we find National Young Women and Girls Conference, where, for example, it has to be rotational. Not all the time it should be in the capital. We know capital, Juba, let me say, it's a capital city for everybody, for South Sudan. But again, can we have it rotational? So that also we need to experience the lifestyle of for example, come to WOW, come and see WOW, come and see it yourself. Come and listen from the women on the ground. Bring other people from other states to gather in WOW, for example, or Warab, or any part of the state. So it should be kind of a rotational, so that you feel part of that community. And then also, I think we have this community radio or government-led. With the radio program, you cannot measure whether everybody listens to it, but at least there are these few ones that listen to it.
Yes.
We have the other private radios in the state. Let's approach them. We have this program for women, and then the information also through the radio need to be localized in the local languages. For example, in WOW, most of us speak Arabic. Even in the rural areas, people speak Arabic. Can we use Arabic to pass our information? Okay, if you have the jingles, can you use the local languages? Can you use Luo? Can you use, the other local languages from other communities within, so that somebody in the rural areas will understand the message you want,
yes.
the message you're trying to pass.
No, I appreciate that. Do you have a last message for young women in general, or just women as well?
So my last message is, I need young women to start now creating networks. And also, young women should now start thinking of taking up their spaces in the community, taking up your space in the government. If you're given a role, do that role with confidence. Be into those networks. If you're still, we have these young girls who are still getting up, go and knock doors. I want to volunteer. Ask, request for it, and I'm very sure. Let us have that spirit of volunteerism.
Yes.
Yeah, because when you have that spirit of volunteerism, you will definitely learn a lot. Because right now we know that things are the economic situations it's not favoring everybody. Yeah, and the current context that we live in, things are very hard. But for you to be the person you want to, I know you have your goals, I know you have what you want, but start it right now. You want to be in politics, start it right now. If you have that potential for politics, you want to be in other social networks, start it right now. Go and be inside there. And also, my last message to the women themselves: let's organize ourselves. I know we are very much organized, but I mean here is we need to start organizing our ideas. We need to start creating a system that will unify our advocacy. We need to have. Let's just come together as women for women agenda, but not an individual agenda. So if we come together as women for women agenda, for young women agenda, for young girls agenda in South Sudan, we'll see that women of South Sudan, or young women and girls of South Sudan, will definitely have a voice in the community, and our voice will be respected.
Amazing. Sebila, thank you so much for being here. I'm really happy you came all the way, and I can't wait to come to WOW.
Definitely.
And we can do a little bit more and reach Grassroots at some point.
Definitely.
But thank you so much for getting us started by just having some voices from the States.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for tuning in. My name is Eva Lopa. Until next time.